My family is from Somalia, and I was raised in America. I remember growing up in a pretty moderate Sunni Muslim household, and I left the religion at a really young age. At around 15 is when I left. There is no such thing as unconditional love in Islam. Your family is your family, and they love and care about you, but it's all based on your adherence to the religion. The second you start to deviate from the religion, that love is gone. You are no longer kin to them. You are a stranger to them. When I first started expressing my opinions on Islam, the immediate action was you need to read more Quran. And it was a slow build-up. It started first with, let's just read this, passage together, or let's go pray together. And towards the end, it was, you are completely locked off from everybody else. I was locked in the room by myself with no ability to talk to anybody else. And the only person I was really allowed to talk to was a religious leader who would come to the house maybe once a week or twice. After about 2 months in isolation and just going through a ton of abuse, I ran until I found someone and they called the cops for me. After that, I was living out of a runaway shelter for teens as I was going through the court system trying to get my emancipation. I had worked really, really hard over 2.5 years to build a new life for myself in a completely different city, states away. And I had absolutely not a single person I was communicating with that connected me to my family. And on graduation day, as I'm on the stage and I hear my name get called and I'm walking across and I look at the front row and I see my mom. After the award ceremony, I sat down and talked with her, and she told me, let's be a family again first and worry about these religious differences second. We arrived at her house and she told me, oh, everybody's waiting for you in the basement. It's a surprise party. And I came in through the front door and there was a lot of shoes, at the front of the house. I could smell all sorts of food that, brought back all sorts of amazing memories. And I went down into the basement. I was halfway down the steps when I heard the door close behind me and then locks turn. We didn't have locks when I lived there. So it was at that moment I knew that I had walked into something that I shouldn't have walked into. When I turned the corner in the basement, there was every adult male in my immediate family and a religious leader sitting in the center. And I knew immediately there was no escaping this. I had to let them do whatever it was that they were there to do and hope that I made it out of this situation alive. The moment I realized that my life could be in danger was when I saw one of my uncles in the foreground getting angry. Although they've been reading the Quran on me for hours, there's no reaction. The jinn apparently isn't showing itself. Something's wrong. From his point of view, he rationalized that the reason that I wasn't reacting was I wasn't possessed. The theory that they had that I was possessed wasn't true. And if I wasn't possessed, it meant that I freely chose to be faithless and that it was my decision to leave the religion. And before I knew it, fists were connecting to my face. I was being hit all over and I just heard things being yelled. Do you know how much pain you put your mother through? Do you know how much shame you brought to the family? Stop acting this way. So they looked at me and they were scared to look at me. Eventually it was just a few immediate family, a few uncles that remained. And I waited a little while and I looked around and the remaining people that were there, they weren't even talking. They sat there just lost in their heads trying to process what just happened. And it was at that moment that I took my chance and I just walked out. No one stopped me. I see a lot of people going through this exact same situations that I did. And the thing that they're missing is the practical knowledge. Because when they go to other organizations for runaway youth, those organizations don't know how to help them. The help they give them sometimes is the worst kind of help. For example, when I was in university seeing a counselor, one of the counselors The way she wanted to help me was she thought I had an irrational fear of Islam, and I had to face it, so she wanted me to go to a local mosque and talk to an imam. She wanted to expose me as being ex-Muslim and go talk to an imam. So some of the advice that people give these kids actually can put them in danger. And so what I've been doing is giving them real advice that actually has helped me. Stuff that they can do to prepare. When they do end up in situations like I ended up, I'm able to help them navigate the complex systems around them and gain their independence. And so I feel a responsibility, especially after all the horrors I witnessed working in this community, to speak out and to speak for the ones who can't speak, the ones that Islam is silencing.